Canggu is overrun, Ubud is exhausted, and Uluwatu's traffic is standing still. Welcome to the coastal city that feels like Bali did 10 years ago. Here along the central coast of Vietnam, the sea breeze carries a different kind of energy. The mornings begin early, long before the sun breaks the horizon, as hundreds of locals gather on the sand to welcome the tide. There are no beach clubs thumping bass, no crowded streets of scooters competing for space. Just the steady rhythm of the South China Sea. If you look out across the water at 5 o'clock in the morning, you will see the silhouettes of traditional basket boats bobbing gently in the surf. These round bamboo vessels, known locally as thung chai, have been used by Vietnamese fishermen for generations. They pull their nets by hand, working in quiet coordination as the sky shifts from dark indigo to soft gold. It is a daily communion with the ocean that has remained unchanged by the skyscrapers rising just a few streets behind them. Da Nang is a landscape of dramatic geological contrasts. To the north rises the Sun Tra Peninsula, a mountain of dense jungle that acts as a natural shield for the harbor. It is home to the endangered red-shanked Duk Lungur, a primate of striking colors that lives high in the canopy. Walking through the forested trails of Sun Tra, you are surrounded by the calls of wild birds and the hum of insects, completely isolated from the urban sprawl below. On the southern slope of Sun Tra Peninsula, the Linh Pagoda stands as a spiritual guardian of the coast. Here, the tallest Lady Buddha statue in Vietnam rises 67 meters into the sky, her gentle gaze directed toward the East Sea. Standing at the base of this towering white marble figure, you feel small against the scale of both human devotion and nature's expanse. The pagoda grounds are a sanctuary of manicured bonsai gardens and ornate temple roofs where wild monkeys frequently descend from the forest, seeking fruit left by pilgrims. It is a place where the scent of burning incense mingles with the salty ocean air, creating a quiet space for reflection before the journey continues. To the south, the Marble Mountains rise abruptly from the flat coastal plain. These 5 marble and limestone hills are named after the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. For centuries, spiritual seekers have climbed their stone steps. Deep inside the damp caves, hidden shrines and Buddhist statues sit in silent contemplation, illuminated only by shafts of natural light that pierce the cavern roofs. But the true artery of the city is the Han River. It flows like a wide, reflective ribbon, dividing the commercial center from the coastal peninsula. At night, the river turns into a gallery of light. The bridges that span it are not just infrastructure. They are expressions of civic identity. The Han River Swing Bridge rotates to let ships pass, while the Dragon Bridge stands as a yellow steel monument, breathing fire and water every weekend to the delight of gathered crowds. Just a short walk from the Dragon Bridge, the Museum of Cham sculpture houses the quiet history of an empire that once ruled these coastal plains. Built by French architects in the early 20th century, the building itself is a low-slung monument of yellow stone and climbing vines. Inside, hundreds of sandstone carvings, dating from the 7th to the 15th centuries, depict gods, dancers, and mythical creatures from the ancient kingdom of Kampa. The terracotta and sandstone artifacts, worn smooth by centuries of tropical humidity, speak of a highly sophisticated artistic heritage that predates the modern skyscrapers. Walking through these silent, sunlit galleries, you connect with the deep historical currents that still shape the identity of central Vietnam. Step away from the main streets and you enter the Hem, the narrow residential alleys where the real life of Da Nang unfolds. Here, the pavement is an extension of the living room. Neighbors sit on tiny plastic chairs, sipping strong iced coffee filtered through metal fins. The rich aroma of coffee grounds mixes with the scent of simmering bone broths from nearby kitchen doors. It is an intimate, slow-paced existence where time is measured in drip by drip. In these alleys, you will discover the culinary soul of central Vietnam. Mi Quang, a dish of wide rice noodles tinted yellow with turmeric, is served with pork, shrimp, fresh herbs, and a crunch of toasted sesame rice crackers. The broth is shallow but intensely flavorful, poured hot over the ingredients. Unlike the international restaurants catering to tourist palates, these local stalls serve food that tells the story of the land and the sea. There is a quiet, unassuming pride in the people of Da Nang. They have seen their city transform from a sleepy port town into a modern metropolis, yet they have held on to a core of genuine hospitality. In the local markets, vendors do not shout at you to buy their goods. Instead, they offer polite nods and patient explanations. A simple transaction for fresh fruit becomes an exchange of smiles and shared gestures. For a deeper immersion into the city's daily rhythm, one must visit Khan Market, the true culinary and commercial heart of Da Nang's local population. Unlike Han Market, which has evolved to serve tourists, Khan Market remains raw and unfiltered. In the narrow, crowded aisles of the indoor food court, vendors cook over small open flames, surrounded by stacks of fresh herbs, steaming pots of broth, and baskets of colorful sweets. The noise is constant, the clank of metal bowls, the call of vendors, and the soft chatter of families eating side by side. The air is thick with the aroma of fermented fish sauce, roasted peanuts, and sweet coconut milk. It is a sensory overload that reveals the authentic, everyday vitality of the city. As the afternoon heat peaks, the city retreats indoors. The streets fall quiet during the midday rest, only to wake up again as the sun drops and the air cools. This is when the beaches come alive. Families gather under the palm trees, children run through the surf, and local groups set up volleyball nets on the wet sand. It is a daily celebration of the coast, accessible to everyone, free from commercial barriers. Understanding Da Nang also means accepting its seasons. During the summer, the city is a sun-drenched playground where the heat is broken only by the afternoon sea breeze. But as autumn yields to winter, the northeast monsoon arrives, bringing cool winds and steady gray rain. The beaches empty of people, and the ocean turns from turquoise to a wild, frothing white. Yet the city does not lose its charm. It simply retreats indoors. The coffee shops become cozy sanctuaries filled with the steam of hot drip coffee and the quiet hum of conversations. This seasonal shift is a reminder of the natural cycle, forcing a slower, introspective pace of life that balances the high-energy summers. For those who come here to work remotely, this natural rhythm becomes their own. They find a balance that is increasingly difficult to achieve in the crowded hubs of Indonesia or Thailand. In Da Nang, you can write code in a quiet, air-conditioned cafe surrounded by local students, and 30 minutes later, watch the sunset from a surfboard in the ocean. The boundary between productivity and peace is soft and easily crossed. This balance is supported by the physical space of the city itself. Da Nang was built with wide coastal roads and expansive boardwalks. You can walk for miles along the sand without encountering beach clubs blocking your path. The public spaces belong to the community. In the evenings, the seaside walkways are filled with joggers, older couples walking hand in hand, and young musicians playing acoustic guitars. Just a short journey inland lies the historic town of Hoi An, where the Thursday Bon River is lined with ancient yellow shophouses and hundreds of glowing paper lanterns. While Hoi An draws the daytime tourist crowds, returning to the quiet space of Da Nang at night feels like stepping back into a sanctuary. It is the contrast between the historic spectacle and the calm, modern reality of coastal life. This city invites you to be a participant in its daily life, not just a consumer of its sights. Whether you are learning a few words of Vietnamese to order your morning noodles, or sitting quietly on a wooden bench watching the ocean turn purple, you are allowed to exist without the pressure of tourism performance. You are not a spectator. You are simply part of the scene. In the search for the next digital nomad paradise, we often look for faster internet and cheaper apartments. But perhaps what we really need is space. Space to breathe, space to connect with a culture that feels authentic, and space to work without the commercial noise of over-tourism. Da Nang offers that space, showing us a quieter way forward. Da Nang is not trying to copy the path of Bali or Phuket. It is charting its own course along the central coast. Have we lost the art of slow travel in our rush to find the most popular online destinations? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe as we continue to step off the screen. Until next time, keep exploring.